The Uber receipt I didn't request. The night a stranger drew me a map at 9:17 p.m. Our shared inbox congratulated me on completing a ride I hadn't taken. Subject line: Your trip with Farid is complete, thanks for riding. The email was friendly in a way that felt personal and automated at the same time. It included a map with a violet line carving a neat diagonal through the city. Pick up our building. Drop off the Lantern Hotel. Total $18.42 plus a tip that looked like guilt doing math. Below the map, a cheerful postscript. You left nothing behind. We keep the joint email for things too boring to exist elsewhere: utilities, dentist reminders, those your order is on its way messages that make you believe in logistics. Eva's rides almost always go to her work account. Tonight, for reasons no algorithm cared to disclose, the Lantern receipt arrived where our water bill also lives. It felt like a paper cut that knew my name. She had left an hour earlier in the kind of dress you wear when you plan to be photographed by someone's memory. Wine with the girls, she'd said, pinching my chin the way she does when she wants my mouth to behave. Don't wait up unless the dishwasher beeps again. She and the dishwasher have an understanding. I watched the elevator swallow her and then pretended to be interested in a game I didn't care about. The receipt turned my pretend into evidence. The map was shameless. It glowed on my laptop like a little lie that had hired a designer. I zoomed in and could read the Lantern street number, the way the driveway looped like a question mark. There was even a timestamp next to the pin: 9:06 p.m. room for dessert. I could have texted something small and adult. All good. I could have forwarded the email with a neutral question mark. I could have done the better version of myself. Instead, I did the honest version. I put on the jacket I wear when I need pockets for hope and keys, and I told the map to tell me how far away my life was from my body. The Lantern is the hotel that sold its soul to Mood Lighting and bought it back at a discount. Red glass pendants hang in the lobby like punctuation. The bar is a long, lacquered sentence. Everything smells faintly of citrus doing business with leather. On the way in, a bellman lifted an eyebrow at me without changing his face. I passed him with the dignity of a man who might belong here if you didn't ask him why. I found her by the mirror, because that's where people go when they want to watch themselves without admitting it. Eva sat at a small table with a glass of something that understood light. Across from her, a man whose sleeves knew the exact number of folds, who had the kind of tan you get from running away for weekends, was saying something that made her shoulders loosen, as if a knot had been temporarily rented to incompetence. He held his glass a fraction above the table when he made a point, like punctuation in a better font. I took a stool at the bar where I could see them in the mirror and see myself not being the kind of man who mistakes volume for virtue. The bartender found me with that professional tenderness you don't forget. "What can I start for you?" she said. "Club soda," I said, "with whatever garnish makes me look like I'm making one good decision." "Grapefruit," she said, smiling like we'd both seen this movie and were rooting for different characters who turned out to be the same person. She slid the glass to me like evidence that somebody can still be dignified. If there's a stage in a bar like this, it's made of glances. The man's hand hovered near the back of Eva's chair, never quite landing the way a polite thief hovers near a window. She let it hover. She laughed as she returned, which is a thing I didn't have to like to respect. They talked short, not cinematic. He looked up once at me, not to posture, just to check for weather, then nodded to her like two people deciding to end something while it was still cheap. He left with the particular elegance of a man who knows exits. "All set," she said when she reached me. The phrase was wearing a borrowed coat, but it fit. We walked past the bellman with the talent for eyebrows and out into a night that had decided to be generous with its temperature. "I hate that you had to come," she said at the corner, voice small, not asking for a verdict. "I hate that your receipt had better directions than us," I said, because jokes are the smallest possible bridge and we needed one to step onto the next sentence. Rename the folder, she frowned. What folder? In the email, I said. Create one called Places We Do Outsource Wanting To. File this there and let it rot, she snorted. I took the win. At home, we did the domestic things harder than necessary. Kettle mugs, honey. We sat on the kitchen floor with our backs against the cabinets because chairs felt like theater seating. We made a list on the back of a takeout menu because apparently that's our holy parchment. Thursdays, hours. No decisions after 9. Phones boring. Therapy together. Dance badly. The bench by the river. One class that involves knives but not metaphors. She texted Callum with both thumbs like she didn't trust one to carry the load. Thank you for the attention. I'm choosing my marriage. Please don't reach out. She showed me the screen not as surrender but as consent to being witnessed. I didn't take her phone. I took the kettle off the heat and kissed the top of her head because tenderness had to go somewhere. We slept like people who had told the truth and now had to lie still while the room recalibrated. Morning put its hands on our shoulders and pushed us back into the day. The Uber app sent a follow-up. How was your ride? I deleted it. Some experiences don't deserve a survey. Week 1 was clumsy and surprising. We stood in a community center gym under fluorescent honesty while a man with a whistle taught 12 adults to move like they've met their feet before. I trod on hers. She laughed in a way that changed the moisture in the room. We ate cheap noodles inside fogged windows and pretended the city was ours because for an hour it was. We sat on the bench by the river and let the water pretend to be Paris without correcting it. Week 2, the dishwasher beeped at 9:41. We didn't fight about it. We turned on music from the year we met and danced on 4 kitchen tiles like superstition. She wrote loud on the whiteboard above the grocery list. I erased it and wrote louder. She left it. I'm not going to lie to you. Some nights I feel like a man who swallowed a compass and can't stop pointing. I check the email account and find nothing, which feels like a victory and not. I touch the map app and remember the violet line and how precise it was. Then I look at the person in the kitchen practicing how to be loud with me, and I decide to be boring in all the right ways. I unload the dishwasher like a love letter and send her a text from 10 feet away. Tonight I want you in the ugly sweatshirt and the good socks. She texts back. Doors open. A month later, the lantern pops up in my periphery on a friend's feed. Someone's birthday cake. Someone else's oath of fun. I let the picture hold me for one breath. Then I put on my jacket with the pockets and walk with her to the store because we forgot dish soap and because our list is a kind of vow. In the cleaning aisle, she threads her arm through mine and says, "Tell me one thing you want that doesn't require a reservation." Your mouth on my jaw while the kettle lies about boiling, I say, and she does it because there we are and there is nothing to stage. YouTube would call it safe. We call it alive. Every now and then the inbox winks with an offer, 10% off your next stay. I let it whisper and then delete it like a number I used to know. I keep the map app for groceries and the gym. When it asks me for a recent place, I type home on purpose, and the violet line straightens in my head and leads exactly where it should.